It's about to happen, and almost nobody is prepared. October 6, 2025 is not an ordinary day. Tonight, the moon will move into a rare alignment that can change everything. This isn't just another night. It's a turning point, a reset, a moment where the universe pushes you forward whether you're ready or not. The signs have already been chasing you. Restless nights, strange dreams, numbers 111, 333, 777, following you everywhere. None of this is random. These are warnings. This moon doesn't come to comfort you. It comes to push you into the life you were always meant to live. That's why the next 48 hours matter more than you realize. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, and write 9999 I'm ready in the comments. Today the moon comes together with Saturn, and this meeting changes the game. The moon is the energy of change and movement. Saturn is the planet of truth, discipline, and karma. When they stand side by side, life stops giving shortcuts. What is real becomes stronger, and what is false begins to break apart. This is not an ordinary conjunction. It is a test. The moon shows where life is shifting, and Saturn asks if you are ready to take full responsibility. Together they bring a powerful message. No more running from what you already know deep inside. For thousands of years, this meeting has been seen as a mark of endings and new beginnings. It clears what cannot stay and prepares you for the next chapter. What you choose now will echo far beyond today. And now the choice is yours. Step forward with truth or watch life push you until you finally do. October 6th marks a turning point that is not random. The meeting of the moon with Saturn signals a moment where karmic contracts are activated. Endings are sealed and new missions begin. This is the kind of day where timelines shift, where the universe pulls people away from paths that no longer belong to them and places them at the entrance of something greater. The moon brings movement through the unseen parts of life, while Saturn closes chapters that have reached their limit. Together they form a gate of truth. Old promises, old ties, and karmic debts are brought to completion. This is why emotions can rise suddenly, and why long-delayed changes can no longer be postponed. The spiritual meaning behind this is simple. Nothing that holds back growth can continue. Soul contracts written long before this lifetime are now being activated. For some, this means the end of connections that were built only for a season. For others, it means stepping into long-prepared roles that finally open. Saturn confirms what the soul already agreed to, while the moon pushes the spirit forward into the next stage. This shift is not punishment. It is alignment. It is the soul stepping back into the script it chose before entering this world. Those who hear these words are not here by chance. There is purpose in this timing, and your higher path is calling. Think of this alignment as an initiation, a threshold moment where karmic weight is lifted and replaced with responsibility for a higher direction. The collective will move through this together, but each person will experience it in a way designed for their soul. October 6th is not simply a date on the calendar. It is the moment where destiny speaks louder than distraction, where endings turn into the beginning of the true mission. This rare alignment between the moon and Saturn brings emotional waves that many cannot explain. On the surface, it may look like sudden changes in mood, old stories rushing back, or a heaviness that seems to come out of nowhere. In truth, it is part of a clearing process. The soul is releasing weight it no longer needs so it can move into what comes next after 6th October. Tears may rise without warning, not because something is wrong, but because the heart is making space. When the moon and Saturn come together, the body and mind start to drop layers of past karma. It is like a quiet washing away of years of unspoken emotions. What feels overwhelming is in fact a sign of progress. Many are experiencing flashes of memory, as if the past is being replayed. These moments surface only so they can finally leave. The conjunction pushes forward what has been hidden, making sure nothing remains unresolved. If old relationships, regrets, or choices are passing through your mind, it is because the time has come to release them fully. Others may notice nights where rest does not come easily. This is not a punishment. It is the mind adjusting to new awareness. The moon is connected to inner rhythms, while Saturn holds the weight of time. Their meeting disrupts the ordinary flow, so the body can adjust to a higher rhythm. Though uncomfortable, it is a clear sign that change is taking place at a deep level. Even the body may respond with sudden waves of heat, cold, or unexpected tension in strange places. These are signals that the physical self is catching up with the soul's decision to grow. Each shift has meaning, and none of it is random. Above all, these experiences are not signs of weakness. They are confirmations that transformation is happening. Many around the world are moving through the same process, even if they cannot name it. The clearing is collective, but each journey is personal. This rare alignment is a reminder that no one is truly alone in this process. The emotions passing through now are part of a larger purification. What leaves is exactly what was never meant to stay. What remains will become the foundation of the next stage of your path. Tonight, the moon draws out what many try to hide from. This is not a soft embrace, but a mirror showing the sides of yourself you would rather turn away from. It asks you to sit with the edges of your own fears and the shadows of choices left unresolved. And as 6th October approaches, that mirror grows sharper, refusing to let illusions survive. The return of these inner echoes does not mean you are falling backward. They rise again because they want to leave. The fears, doubts, and shame that surface now are not punishments. They are old contracts asking to be released. Each trembling thought, each wave of insecurity carries the memory of a lesson that has been waiting for closure. Ancient mystics understood this work as a kind of alchemy. To look into the darker corners is to turn lead into gold. You are not meant to destroy the shadow, but to integrate it to understand its place in your growth. Every hidden truth once faced loses its power to control you. In this way, what once bound you becomes the key to your freedom. The moon paired with Saturn makes the weight of the past impossible to ignore. This union pushes unresolved karma to the surface, demanding honesty. Relationships that drained you, choices made out of fear, wounds you thought were healed, all of these may circle back. They return not to punish, but to be seen clearly one final time. On the surface, it can look overwhelming, but underneath it is a purification, a spiritual detox that cannot be skipped. To release is to make room for what is more aligned. On 6th October, this alignment acts like a turning point, pulling open the gates of self-awareness. Those who lean in will find themselves stepping lighter, no longer dragged by what has already served its purpose. To deny the shadow is to live half a life. To welcome it, to face it, to honor its truth is to live whole. Each tear, each uncomfortable moment is a torch guiding you deeper into yourself. What looks like darkness is only a teacher in disguise, holding the wisdom you once feared to see. The gift of this passage is clarity. By facing what arises now, you strip away disguises and masks. You meet yourself without filters, and from there nothing can hold you hostage anymore. The work is raw, but it is also liberating. What you release in these days does not come back. Tonight's alignment reminds you that evolution is not built on light alone. It is born in the union of both light and shadow, both truth and illusion. To walk through this gate is to accept all of yourself, and in that acceptance lies the greatest freedom. A doorway opens when the soul can no longer stay in the smallness it once accepted. The heart begins to rise, the mind begins to stretch, and the body starts carrying a different rhythm. This is not theory. It is happening now, and it is irreversible. What once kept people stuck no longer holds the same grip. Invisible chains are snapping, and the spirit is demanding space to move freely. The turning point we have reached is not subtle. It is a command. Old limits, outdated stories, and fears that played like background noise are losing their power. What steps forward is a deeper call to truth. This is where spiritual awakening moves from being an idea into lived reality. It touches how you walk, how you choose, how you connect. Every decision begins to align with something greater, something that pulls you toward the center of your destiny. Vibrational realignment is not about perfection. It is about resonance. The world is tuning itself like a vast instrument, and each person is finding where they belong in the new harmony. If you have been carrying heaviness, it is because you are being recalibrated. If you have been questioning where life is leading you, it is because the map you once held has become too small. The awakening requires a larger vision, one that does not just survive but thrives. Ancient teachers spoke of this threshold as a fire of transformation. Though not fire as destruction, but fire as refining heat. It strips away illusions and polishes the soul into brilliance. In the same way, what unfolds now removes the unnecessary layers so that the essence of who you truly are can stand in the open. This process is not easy, but it is holy. To be awakened is to be reborn into purpose. The rising wave of awareness moves through the collective as well. Entire communities are being asked to step out of cycles of fear, scarcity, and division. What awakens within the individual ripples outward, creating a chain reaction. Each awakened soul is a spark that ignites countless others. This is why the work is not private. It is universal. Your awakening is not only for you, it is a gift for the collective field of humanity. As the spiritual body awakens, new doors appear, synchronicities multiply, relationships shift into alignment with authenticity. Intuition grows sharper, guiding with clarity instead of doubt. Physical reality begins to echo the frequency of the awakened soul. These changes may at times feel like a storm, but beneath it is a clear current pushing everything toward balance. To resist this process is to fight against the river. To embrace it is to discover freedom. Spiritual awakening is not about leaving life behind, but about inhabiting it fully, seeing the extraordinary within the ordinary, the divine within the human, the infinite within each passing moment. And as this chapter deepens, the invitation is simple: to rise, to embody, to become what you were always meant to be. Right now, a silent tide of transformation is running through people everywhere, and it cannot be ignored. What once seemed unshakable is shifting. The ordinary routines, the way we connect, even the way truth is recognized, everything is being rewired. This is not chaos, but a higher order breaking through the surface. Each awakening that begins within one person immediately sparks changes in others, like a chain reaction that travels far beyond what the eye can see. The truth is that no one is moving through this alone. Every insight, every release, every moment of clarity becomes part of a larger rhythm. The energy pouring through individuals is not private. It is woven into the collective fabric. October 6th marks a point where this interconnected field amplifies, and what happens within you ripples into timelines that extend across generations. What rises inside is shaping the very direction of our shared path forward. Ancient seers spoke of a moment when inner awakening would overflow into the outer world, creating not only personal breakthroughs, but also a new way of living together. The prophecy is no longer distant. It is unfolding here and now. The whispers of the past are aligning with the choices of the present. This is why so many are being pulled into their truth, urged to let go of disguises and pushed to claim lives that match the vibration of who they truly are. The individual soul is stepping forward, and with it the collective field shifts into higher resonance. The story of awakening is not only about peace. It is about power. Power not in the old sense of control, but in the sense of authenticity. As people rise into alignment with their deeper truth, a new form of strength emerges. It does not dominate, it liberates. It does not divide, it connects. Every breakthrough you claim within yourself becomes a signal, a frequency broadcast into the larger human field. Without even realizing it, you are becoming a catalyst for a spiritual revolution that has been centuries in the making. Planetary ascension is not an abstract concept. It is the living proof that we are evolving together. The grids of consciousness that surround and penetrate human life are reawakening, charged by the collective activation of countless souls choosing clarity over confusion. You may think your personal shift is small, but when woven into millions of others, it becomes unstoppable. That is why the journey has felt so intense, why so many truths are rising at once, and why no one can escape the pull toward change. The field itself is demanding alignment. Consciousness itself is expanding in ways that rewrite possibility. Old limits that told us what was realistic are dissolving. New forms of connection are opening as intuition sharpens and hearts grow bolder. People who never questioned the old order are beginning to hear the deeper call. Those who carried the weight of silence are finding their voices. The invisible walls that separated one from another are thinning, not because we strive to make it happen, but because the vibration of truth makes division impossible. This is what ascension truly means. Not escape, but embodiment. It is the moment when divine potential ceases to be a dream and becomes lived reality. It is the point where personal awakening becomes planetary momentum. Every time a soul releases an old burden, every time a person chooses love over fear, every time honesty breaks through denial, the collective field rises. And as it rises, opportunities that once seemed impossible suddenly appear as though the fabric of life itself is reweaving in real time. This is why spiritual awakening cannot be dismissed as personal therapy or individual improvement. It is the engine of a larger revolution, one that transforms how communities are built, how truth is shared, how love is embodied in action. It is not an escape from the world. It is the renewal of the world. The deeper the awakening moves through individuals, the faster the shared timeline bends toward freedom. This is not a small story. It is the greatest shift of our era. October 6th is not merely a date to observe. It is a symbol of convergence. Personal and planetary streams of growth intertwine, and the doorway to higher timelines swings wider than before. Those who step through it carry not only their own destiny but also the keys to collective transformation. Your choices matter far beyond your own life because they alter the shared field we all move through. That is the weight and wonder of this moment. The collective shift is not waiting for tomorrow. It is happening now. Every awakened voice strengthens the chorus. Every liberated heart strengthens the field. The momentum is building and nothing can push it back into silence. The world is not ending. It is beginning again at a higher octave, and every soul who accepts their awakening becomes a cornerstone of that renewal. The revolution is spiritual and it is already underway. What is happening now stretches far beyond what the eye can measure. The collective field is vibrating with an intensity that reshapes both the inner and outer worlds across communities, nations, and cultures. Something larger is pressing forward. It is not an idea whispered in secret anymore. It is a rising truth that no voice of denial can suppress. The signs are everywhere. People stepping away from fear, exposing falsehoods and discovering courage they never knew they carried. The spiritual revolution unfolding is not about one leader or one movement. It is about consciousness itself taking root in countless lives at once. Each person who dares to embody authenticity becomes a lighthouse for others who are still finding their way. And as these lights multiply, they begin to form a network, a living grid that awakens not only individuals, but the very pathways through which human destiny moves. This is planetary ascension in motion, not a sudden event but a rising wave that grows stronger with every soul that says yes. October 6th stands as a marker in this vast story, a reminder that certain alignments ignite collective thresholds. Personal awakenings intensify not for isolation, but to accelerate the rhythm of change we all share. What happens in your inner world does not stop with you. It pours into the shared field, shifting the balance of possibility for everyone. That is why this moment carries such weight. It is not simply about individual healing, but about weaving a brighter timeline for generations to come. Those who once walked in silence are beginning to find their words. Those who hid their truth are stepping into clarity. Those who believed they were powerless are beginning to touch the current of real strength. The structures of separation are fading, and with them goes the illusion that we are ever alone. Every breakthrough in one person becomes a bridge for countless others. This is the hidden law of consciousness. Awakening spreads. Planetary ascension is not only about vision but about embodiment. It shows itself in how people choose kindness in places where cruelty once ruled. It manifests when compassion interrupts judgment, when generosity disarms greed, when forgiveness opens paths where bitterness once closed the door. These are not small gestures. They are seismic. They alter the very field we all walk through, raising the collective frequency with each choice. The movement of consciousness is unstoppable now. Even in the midst of confusion, the deeper current runs clear. People are beginning to see through lies that once held them captive. Hearts are stirring with a knowing that the old order cannot last. This is why the world may appear divided, because the old and the new are colliding in plain sight. Yet beneath that clash, a higher order is forming, one that is guided not by fear but by wisdom. What makes this moment so powerful is the recognition that awakening is not private property. It belongs to the whole. Every meditation, every prayer, every act of courage, every truth spoken into silence becomes fuel for the larger shift. The personal becomes planetary. The individual spark joins the fire of collective transformation, and together they form the revolution that ancient prophecies once spoke of. A revolution not of violence but of vision. The soul knows this truth. It did not arrive here by accident. It chose this timeline deliberately to contribute to this turning point. That is why you are hearing these words now, not as coincidence but as confirmation. Something within you was always meant to be part of this unfolding. Something within you holds a note in the great symphony of awakening that cannot be played by anyone else. The collective shift requires every voice, every heart, every soul willing to rise. October 6th echoes through this narrative as more than a date. It is a signal, a reminder that the turning point has arrived. The collective story has entered a chapter where waiting is no longer an option. Each decision to align with truth, each step into authenticity, each act of compassion accelerates the momentum. We are not spectators. We are participants, co-authors of a new era that is being written in real time. The revolution of consciousness is not about escape, but embodiment. It calls us to live awake, to see through illusion, to carry wisdom into action. It asks us to weave courage into conversations, love into communities, and light into every space that still clings to shadow. It is not perfection that shifts the collective. It is the willingness to rise, to keep rising, and to never return to the silence of denial. The planetary awakening is already underway, unstoppable and irreversible. Each soul that embraces their role fuels the momentum. Each choice toward love reshapes the path for all. What once seemed impossible is already being born through the courage of awakened lives. The teachings of Hermetic philosophy remind us that all things move according to rhythm, yet those who learn to rise above the swing of extremes become free. Right now, the call is not to drift with uncertainty, but to steady your ground. Place your hands on your heart and remember the movements of the cosmos are not here to confuse you. October 6th marks a moon alignment that signals a turning of the wheel. To carry this power forward, choose to embody clarity each morning. Speak words that match the life you are shaping, not the shadows of the past. In Vedic wisdom, the tongue is seen as the bridge between thought and destiny. What you declare becomes the soil where the future grows. So begin with simple acts. Drink water as though it holds memory. Write words as though they summon vision, and sit in stillness until your own wisdom rises. These practices may seem small, yet they anchor you in the higher timeline that is opening before you. The Hermetic law of correspondence teaches as above, so below. The movements of the sky mirror the journey within. When the moon aligns with Saturn, it reminds us that responsibility is not a weight but a crown. Carry yourself as one who holds authority over their own destiny. Each choice becomes a seed. Each thought becomes a path. The wisdom of the Vedas speaks of Dharma, the right action at the right time. To live in Dharma is not about perfection, but about alignment with truth. Ask yourself before each step, does this bring me closer to my essence, or does it lead me away? In that simple question lies the power to stay in rhythm with the unfolding future. Indigenous elders teach that the drum beat is the heartbeat of the world. You may not always carry a drum, but your own pulse is its echo. Listen to it, walk to it. Let it remind you that you are never separate from the larger song that is moving through all of life. Ritual does not need to be complex. Light a candle not for worship, but for remembrance. Whisper words of gratitude not because you must, but because it shifts the entire field around you. Choose symbols that strengthen you and repeat them until they become part of your way of living. This path does not demand struggle. It demands presence. And presence is enough to anchor the revolution that has already begun. The sky prepares to open a rare passage, and the October 5th moon event carries the weight of transition like a threshold no one can avoid. Old chapters loosen their hold not through struggle, but because they no longer match the path ahead. A quiet courage is being asked of each heart, an invitation to stand in the middle of change with steady trust. Those who pause in reflection now will hear the world speaking back to them through the wind, through the stillness of night, through the rhythm of daily life. Ancient teachers spoke of such moments as doorways when spirit and matter echo each other more clearly. It is in these pauses that growth takes root. Take these final moments as a chance to affirm who you are becoming. Speak words of strength aloud. Carve them into the rhythm of your days. Share those words so others may rise with you. Each voice declaring its truth becomes part of a wider chorus that strengthens the collective path forward. Now the call extends beyond silence. Add your power phrase in the comments. Let it be your mark of commitment to transformation. Then carry this message further. Share it with someone who is stepping into awakening, someone who needs the reminder that change is not an end, but the clearing of space for something greater. The blessing is already here. The only step left is to claim,